Do I regret ranking up any of the champions that I have? Yes and no. Unfortunately, a lot of the time it's forced upon yourself because of Kabam. New storage levels do mean that champions aren't going to be as valuable anymore. Yes, Ascension does help to mitigate that decision whether or not to go for the 6-star version, 200 signature, Ascend, or wait out for the 7-star version. But there are times when the 7-star prevails and you're looking at the 6-star version going, why did I rank you up? So I'm currently on my holiday at the moment. So this is pre-recorded video, or as weird cringy people in the UK say, holly bobs. Ugh. Whoever says that, they need seeing to, they really do. But I wanted to do a video about ranking up champions. I like a lot of the champions that I've ranked up. I'm incredibly happy with some recent rank ups. Some ones I'll give you a bit of an example of. I mean, you know the usual ones, like, Hulk is a 7-star, Bishop's already there, Shuri's already there. But recently I took Iceman to rank 5 and Ascended because I was finding I was using him a lot more in Alliance War, so I thought that was a no-brainer. Omega Sentinel, I find I use a lot more in things like Alliance Wars, so again, it's a no-brainer. And of course, being a... she's not a Secretary. Is she a Secretary? I think she's a Secretary, not a Provocateur. I got to double check that just so I'm not going completely mad. She is a House of Mirrors, which is a Saga champ. Maybe she does apply to it. Maybe she does. Maybe she doesn't. Anyway, that's one of them. Captain America, I did. First of all, I did that for, I think, a reason of suffering, like Summer of Suffering type fight. But I'm actually going to like him. More on that in another video. Anyway, Serpent's rank 3 7-star. And that's really it. Oh, and Gladiator's the recent one. But I need to do a lot more rank ups. And Storm. I think a rank 3 Stormed. Rank 2 Stormed. I am thinking about rank 3ing her. Oh, and Joe Fixit. God, I forget all these champions. Joe Fixit, I'm enjoying. I'm really enjoying. It's great to find new champions, old champions that you like. But, of course, when it comes to decision making, it's going to be a very important thing. There are some exclusive 6-stars that aren't 7-stars at the moment. I personally like the survivability of King Groot. It's always debatable with people about that, whether or not they go like, King Groot. Gallon. If they ever bring Gallon out as a 7-star, he is... I'm going to invest all my effort into. I love Gallon. He's one of my favourite champions for damage output. Like, love the guy. Fantastic. Fantastic champion. Can't recommend Gallon enough. Build up those harvests. Throw a parry heavy SP1. Boom. That burst damage. Chef's kiss. One of my favourite champions. Gallon. Anyway. Let's go back to the scene of the crime back several years ago. And this is something that I think a lot of people don't know about coming new to the game. Even a year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years. You don't get the full picture of the legacy player, the veteran player, as to the mistakes. Which, unfortunately, are mistakes you're going to make. Did you know you're going to be making a mistake and you don't realise it? Yeah, what mistake's that? You're going to be ranking up lower champions. Again, you might be going like, well, what are you talking about? Like, that's not true. Well, it is true when you look at this. These are 4-stars. These 4-stars are fully ranked, fully maxed. Okay, they are champions that I did back in the day because 4-stars were the pinnacle of champion you could get at one given time. And these stretch to a... Now, I'm not complaining about this. This is technically a mistake, but technically isn't. These champions still fill a need at the moment because they are rampantly going through the summoner trials to get myself units. Not at the moment because I don't really have the time because we're doing stuff with this house. However, ranking up these, resource invested, and... what's the return? Nothing. They're ultimately worthless unless Kabam do some special novelty, nostalgia content where 4-stars are of an importance. So, yes, mistakes will happen. You're probably ranking up 5-stars and 6-stars, and 10 years from now, there's 9-stars, 10-stars, and you're probably going to yourself, why did I rank up all those 6-stars? I've now got an 8-star or 9-star version of the champion, which I heavily invested into. Maybe that's the case, maybe it's not. When it comes to the 5-star side of things, though, there are some glaring mistakes and issues. For a time, I didn't get the champions that I wanted at 6-star, with 6 stars being, at the time of me ranking 5 stars, the most prevalent champions. It was always a difficulty to go, am I fully investing to max up these champions and also invest Ascension? Because there was a time I was like, I'm using Nick Fury as a 5-star. No Ascension, because I wasn't picking up the 6-star version. It took me, I think, nearly 2+ years. Spider-Ham, similar-ish story. I think only this year I picked up the champion as a 6-star. So I had to invest into the 5-star. Again, like 5 stars nowadays I don't invest in. But say about 2-3... Yeah, I go with 3 years. 2-3 years ago, when Spider-Ham came into the game, I had to get the 5-star version and make it a max signature and rank 5. Because I needed Spider-Ham, I need to use him, and I didn't have the 6-star version. So you've got to make do, or you've got to find a way to do that. You've got to find a way to use it. Wolverine Weapon X, again, similar situation. I invested into that. Probably didn't need to. But it was the only version I had, and I decided to do it. And as well, when Battlegrounds kind of started off for the very first time, when it was something else, used him. If not, it was just, it's an option there. So there are a few 5 stars. I feel like, why did I invest into these? Because then I got the 6-star version. And the same with the 6-star. You're going to hear this a lot when it comes to repetition on stuff. Now, there's not a lot of mistakes or things that I regret when it comes to my rank ups. And maybe that's the kind of the word is kind of the regret. There's still a lot of champions I do need to rank up. I say that a lot, but next week when I get a bit of holiday time, at least I can start writing out lists of stuff and just planning the rest of the year with my rank up schedule. That is something I'm very much looking forward to. So one glaring personal mistake is Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic is a rank 4 champion, and I think I ranked him up after the buff, and then I just found I just wasn't using him. And maybe there will come a time I will use him. But if for whatever reason I want to do something like suppress power or regeneration, then I want a science champion. And again, I could use She-Hulk with this guy. But if I wanted to do petrify, regen, power, suppression, I'd probably look to Photon, to be truthful. And if I wanted to do any kind of power stinging, which that's what will be given, I'll just use Scorpion or any other champion that does power stinging as part of their kind of kit and rotation. So that's another thing. Like, is he just there to kind of bolster a team? I think I might have, because I can't remember. I might have ranked him up for like another of Suffering, like Summer of Suffering or Winter of Woe or something, a particular fight for it. And I never used him again. And that, again, is a story that's going to happen for a few other champions. As we go down the list of some of these rank 4 6-stars, again, I'm kind of greeted with, why did I do that? Morningstar, again, is another one. Like, there's nothing against Morningstar. I just don't see... I haven't seen any kind of like usage for the champion. It's nice to break out different options, but if I need a bleed immune option that I need to scale over certain fights... And maybe she'll get like an ease of access kind of buff. And that's something as well to note. Like, we could have reworks of champions. So I can't really overly complain. But Morningstar is definitely one of them. Shuri felt a bit of a mistake as well when I ranked her up. And that is, again, self-evident because I started doing Necropolis with Shuri to help out with some damage output. And I found partway through I was like, okay, well, I'll open up a 7-star. And lo and behold, I did the opening, and what popped out that crystal? Yes, indeed, Shuri. So I was like, man, I'm going to have to invest into this because it's, again, all about like damage. Maybe the version of the 6-star would have been fine. But I have found in the past, and this is a good point because people might say, well, you can use both of them, or you could use, the 6-star would be better if you 200 signatured and do whatever. Well, there has been at times some gating systems. I think we had a gating system with the original Shooting Star quest, but also we had a gating system in those Alliance War showcases. So I think there was, and I think as well, there was another reason why the 7-star became more of an interest to me. I think as well, like further investment. Would it make more sense to throw that extra ranking elements to Shuri versus the 7-star versus the 6-star? Yeah, I think there is. Could there be something better with the damage output? Well, possibly. Rank up decisions are always a tough one, because that's something that I've been very cagey of. And one thing that I do put in my notes in the description is that most 6 stars I put up to rank 3, and I have plans for it but it's a slow progress, because I don't want to invest a lot more resources into something which I don't know if it's worth doing. It's like, save the resource, like the tier 6 basic and the tier 3 alpha, and try and throw that onto my 7 stars and kind of spread it out, because then I've got 2 champions that are doing exactly the same thing. There are times when that works. I think I've done that in the past with Warlock, which has been great, because I've brought 2 Warlocks into a monthly quest, but it's a very specific kind of like area where I've used that as a particular option. And there's quite a few others that are rank 3 that I'm kind of wondering like why I actually kind of like rank them up. Adam Warlock should have been ranked up further. I've got a 7-star version. Kitty Pryde I just don't use, and that's another story of things, is like I just don't use all the champions. Werewolf by Night, Odin, again I got 7-star versions. Crossbones, Hulk, haven't taken them further because I've got 7-star versions. Wiccan, again 7-star versions. She-Hulk, should be doing more with, like putting her up, haven't done it, should do it. Again, another story there. Wasted resource to rank 3? No, it just came to a head of, in hindsight, you could go back in time and you would go like, I've made so many mistakes with ranking up champions. I shouldn't have done it. Mainly because 7 stars came into the game, and I'm sure we'll be saying the same thing when 8 stars come in, that you've invested all this resource and it's a bit of a mistake. But, you know, there doesn't seem to be, and to kind of finish the video, I don't feel I've made a lot of mistakes with ranking up champions. And regrets, yeah, regrets are there, and that's always an issue. Helpful for arena farming when I get back to doing it. I'd say that Mr. Fantastic and also maybe Iron Man have been mistakes. I'm sure I'll use Iron Man again. I actually just now remembered you could use Iron Man potentially as an option in side quest, as you do remember. I ranked him up to do using raids, but if I want an Incinerate immune tech champion, I'd probably just go for Infamous Iron Man, to be honest. But I can get a bit more utility as well from it. That doesn't take away from the champion. It's just a personal thought and feeling. Anyway, what champions do you feel that you made a mistake or regret ranking up? What are your thoughts around ranking up and the increase of new starage? Your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, like I think until we get 7-star versions of very powerful champions like Hulkling, and I don't know what a 7-star Apocalypse would be like, but I'd be excited for that if that was ever a thing. Then yeah, that would be cool. But we'll have to see in any case. That's been the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Check out some other content. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.